is candidates are seated in a random order that we chose, literally throwing all of the names on the table and I wrote them down. I'll be giving them the mic and it'll be passed starting with you, Tavali, right through to here. When you get it, pass it back there and it goes that way. When it gets to Xiang, she'll give it back to me and we'll do round two. So round one is going to be each of you has 2 minutes. I will be timing from the time you speak. So if she passes you the mic, the clock doesn't start then. The second you start talking, your clock starts. Sometimes reasonable with up to 10 seconds, but after that I'll give you the hook and you have to pass the mic. Fair enough? Okay, this is great. After we're done with that section, each candidate has randomly been assigned a question. 2 candidates will be answering each question. Once they've done answering those, then we'll open it up to the floor, and you guys can ask whatever you'd like. Anyone have any questions? No? This is easy then. All right, so you're up first. You can stay seated or sit up, but the mic is yours. Yeah, I'm in the room. You guys just going to pass it along? It's on, or you can use your hand like your choice.
Good evening, faculty members, SMUSA executives, and my fellow students. My name is Hossain, and I'm in my second year of business. Now, before starting with my speech, I would like to share a short story of my academic experience in SMU with you all. Now, when I first started with SMU, I was enrolled in engineering just because my parents wanted me to. But however, because my heart was not in it, I decided to move to commerce, where I'm much more satisfied, successful, and fulfilled. To you, my fellow students, I pose this question. Would you rather have your legacy imposed on you, or would you rather empowered to forge your own? Now, if I'm elected as a member of both, I promise to put the power back in you, the students. I speak for not only the international, but also the domestic and the minority bodies. I know I'm not alone in thinking that the university textbooks are expensive. Wouldn't you agree with me? For example, some of you have taken at least 5 courses, and I agree that 4 hours, 5 of your courses requires a textbook which is like $100 each. Now do the math. Surprisingly, the version of the textbook keeps changing every 4 months. I actually doubt, is it the material of the books that's being changed, or is it just the book cover? Moving on to the tuition fees. I'm not promising you that I'll bring the tuition fees down, but I can ensure that I'm going to lobby the government on behalf of the students regarding the tuitions. Thirdly, the timings of the food services in SMU, like Dockside, C-Store, food courts in fact, everything closes by 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. tops. So what are the students who are living on campus going to do? They end up ordering food from outside. And as international students, that is expensive. Now, I and my friends, I stayed in Loyola for 1 year, and I know the struggle, the hunger struggle after 10 p.m. I don't want you guys to go through some hunger games in deciding who's going to pitch in how much just because I'm broke. Thank you.
Hello everyone, hope you all are having a good day. So this is Maksud. This is my 4th year, I'm studying accounting. This is my 4th year, and after that I'll go for CPA. There's like everyone is talking about tuition fees and cafeteria. I talked with some another board of director, and it's not new news. It has been keep going on last like 5 years that cafeteria food is not good. And see, on the other hand, like these days, a lot of like international students are growing up, but since like food diversity is not increasing, like a lot of people from South Asia and Middle East, there's not enough food for those people in cafeteria. So I would suggest, because at the end of the day, it's like decision, we can't just talk, but the decision will be made by board of directors. So I would suggest to them to make the diversity A lot of people, those who are from South Asia, they are not used to in those food. And that's all for me. Good one. Have a good day.
Hello everyone, my name is Deeksha, Bhaskar. Thank you so much for coming out here today. I know you guys have probably 100 other priorities on your list, but you came out here to listen to what we have to say because you care about the community. I'm here to tell you that I also care about that community and I want to work for the community. I'm running for the board because I want to give back to the community that has done so much for us already. Now there are three main issues I'd like to focus on. First, student engagement. Secondly, modifying the U-Pass policy, and thirdly, the reporting structure for the operations team. Now, student engagement has been a big issue, but we haven't really been able to do much about it till now. I have a realistic solution for it. What we need is a policy that makes it mandatory for SMUSA to conduct regular general meetings along with the general assemblies. This will give students more opportunity to interact with the people who are representing them and put forward their issues. Second is the bus pass. A lot of Canadian students who have cars don't really need to pay, don't really use the bus, and so it's completely senseless for them to pay for a service they're not even using. So we need to make the bus pass optional so that they don't have to pay for it. And there are a lot of part-time students who actually need the bus pass, but because of the current policies, they don't get to use the service. So we need to give them the bus pass and not the students who don't need it. Thirdly is the the reporting structure for the operations team. What the work of the board is to make the president and the other members of the operations team accountable for the work they're doing in the entire year and make policies accordingly. Right now, the accountability system is not that efficient as it should be. So what we need is a structure, a formal structure, so that we can know what exactly they're doing the entire year. This will make the accountability system more efficient. As a board member, I will try to make it my mission to establish an integrated campus culture. I'm seeking this position in recognition of the fact that we work better as a team. As a board member, I promise to stand up to the expectations. Thank you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kimerline, and I'm in my second year here at St. Mary's University. I'm studying commerce, and I'm majoring in human resource management. A bit about myself before I start my whole speech and spiel. I just want to say thank you all, first of all, to all of you ladies and beautiful ladies and gentlemen coming out here tonight from your busy time schedule to support us, your fellow candidates, future board of directors, as it really means a lot to each one of us, especially to me. Reason being, I want to be that channel that hears your voice in the board of directors. Hold on 1 second. So, I've been living in Canada for the past 7 years, alright? I am an Indian, however I was born in Dubai, lived there for about 6 years, moved to India for about 2 years, moved to Japan after that for about 3.5 years, and then moved to Montreal, and then out of Bridgewater, and now I'm right here in Nova Scotia. Reason why I said that is because one main thing about our university is we're diversely multicultural. We focus a lot on our international students, especially domestic students. So I personally feel I actually have that little skill that would be able to help bring the multiculturalism back into our university. One of our main mottos, to have that multiculturalism within our system. A few days back at the presidential debate, once one of our fellow students asked, what is the largest denomination here at St. Mary's? And it's the Asian population, but you don't really see a lot of engagement out here, do you? I want to be that change once, if supposing I do get into board of directors, that through your help, to bring that engagement back with all our students, bring our community as one. This is our university, one world, yours. And I want to make that university, that motto actually stay to our university. be the board of directors to help that change. So I hope you guys, I just want to say thank you for taking your time and consideration to come here tonight. And I really want to make that change, to bring your voice out to the public. Thanks.
Good evening, students, faculty, and staff. My name is Ollando. I believe in the philosophical view that anything is worth doing well. I believe that I am a resourceful person. I'm a person who will not hesitate to voice your concern, a person who represents St. Mary's University multicultural student body, as well as a person who will strive to put 110% in being a new St. Mary's University Student Association Board of Directors. I want to ensure that your voice are heard. I am not going to state empty promises, but rather issues I believe need to be addressed. In my 3 years at St. Mary's University, I have never had a board of directors walk up to me or ask me about issues that I believe in or things that is affecting the school. So, as such, I vow to put the issues of my fellow students forward and communicate to them what is taking place so that they are not in the dark of these issues. I feel that each of the candidates, along with myself, believe that we have the desire and motivation and the drive to strive and serve the student on campus. Thank you for your time, and I encourage you all to exercise your rights and vote. We all were lived to born, so don't live because you were born, make a difference.
Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum and namaste. I'm Ashquir Rahman, a third-year Bachelor of Commerce student majoring in Finance and Computer Information System. Let me tell you a story. When I first arrived in St. Mary's University, I had no idea what SMUSA is. I honestly felt SMUSA is an entity of SMU, which is not. We are a student body. I never had any idea we have so many amazing services like the health center, career center, counseling center, etc. The first service that I received was during a snowstorm when someone said you can use the husky. The first thing that came up to my mind was a dog and a sledge. My fellow mates faced many different issues just like me. This shows we had a huge gap between our students and our student body. I'm thankful to James, Emily, and their colleagues for trying their best to fill it up. But still, the communication is a great problem. I'd like to thank all the presidential candidates who came up with many different issues on Tuesday. But friends, it's not about you, it's not me, it's about us. So let your voice be heard and come out to vote on February 24th and 25th. Thank you very much.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Batra. I'm a third-year student majoring in accounting. I'm hopeful to become a part of SMUSA Board of Directors. I believe that I'm a good fit for this position because I have been an active member on campus since my first year of university. I have seen and faced many challenges as a student, therefore I'm aware of the obstacles students face. And I'm not here to make any empty promises, but to address issues that we as students face. My main priority will be to encourage student employment opportunities and to increase awareness on ways to get hired. I would also like to promote different scholarship opportunities to students provided by St. Mary's University and other organizations such as Scholarship Canada. Other changes I would like to bring is increase in hours of food bank from 3 to 8 hours to make a volunteer work recognized by CCR, co-curricular record, which will be done under food bank. Easy, efficient, and effective. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your vote. Let's make up.
First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for showing up tonight. So, hi everyone, my name is Oyindamola, Oshobu, and I'm from Nigeria. I'm a commerce student majoring in finance. I've been a student at St. Mary's for 3 years now, and during my time here, I've been an active member of the SMU community through residency committee and as a resident service officer. Through these activities, I've met a lot of great people and friends alike. Living on res has made me understand the struggles of the students. Being involved personally and professionally with students has also increased my love for building team spirit. This is what made me consider running for SMUSA board of directors. And I've had great experiences with my involvement here at SMU. And I would like to give those opportunities to you and future students because the real MVPs are you. I would like to sign up by saying thank you for your time and that together, my fellow students, we will and we can. Have a great one.
Hi everyone. What a nice turnout. Oh my god, it's amazing. I just wanted to recognize the fact that the board of directors nominees are actually diverse group of people, which is, I think, an amazing feat for SMUSA. So I'd like to give a round of applause to everybody running for BOD. Well, my name is, I first should introduce myself. My name is Zahra Dhubow, and I'm a third-year International Development Studies student. And I actually came to help. I actually came to Halifax from Ottawa, and I came about 4 years ago. And when I first came to Halifax, it was definitely a culture shock for me. And it took a while for me to kind of adapt to Halifax, because Ottawa is such a big city for whoever's been there before. And I immediately fell in love with St. Mary's, because of the diverse cosmopolitan student population. And it kind of gave me an ability to have a voice, because I just felt like instead of being a person in a pool of people, I really felt like I could share my experiences, and I had platforms to kind of showcase my uniqueness. And I thought it would be great, actually, to run for board of directors because of that. And one of the really important things that I do want to address is definitely the tuition hike. So as a student, I don't know if a lot of you guys know this, but there's a 10% hike potentially in 2018 for tuition. So I think it's great that we're discussing other topics and issues that we want to address as a population, as a student population, but I think most importantly we need to address the tuition hike for sure. Secondly, I would love to address and advocate for mental health awareness. And I think a big reason why we're having such mental health issues is because of the, okay, just 1 second. Because of the tuition hike. I really think the tuition hike is definitely affecting students because they're working and they're having a burden on themselves. I think that's definitely another thing that we need to address, and equity. Sorry.
That's awesome. She sounds really good.
Hello everyone. My name is Talha Xiang. Before I begin, English is not my first language, so if I make any mistake, please forgive me. I'm a fourth-year commerce student majoring in economics. I'm an international student who came to St. Mary's in the winter of 2012. For the past 3 years, I've been working as a student ambassador at admissions and recruitment. My particular department is Center for New Students, where I'm responsible for helping students with campus adjustments and registering and advising students about courses. For anybody who doesn't know, we're the ones who make the A numbers for you. For the past 3 years, I've worked for many different departments at St. Mary's University. I worked for alumni office as a fundraiser, where I was responsible for fundraising, which goes to scholarships and bursaries offered to students at the university. I'm also working for campus security and also a door staff at Doors Book Lounge, which is coordinated by SMUSA, ensuring safety for all students. I'm also currently engaged with a lot of societies on campus, such as St. Mary's University Bangladeshi Society, and also was the VP of fundraising for Oxfam Society on campus. As your board member, I plan to challenge myself to find a way to bring SMUSA further into the St. Mary's community, while still preserving the differences and sense of community that makes SMUSA unique. For 4 years here at St. Mary's University have shown me the benefits of our diversity. In no other school on this campus or elsewhere can you find such a variety of students all contributing towards a vibrant community. Coming to the point, I have never held any office before. During high school and my first year of university, I was too shy to get involved with anything. I've come a long way since then. I believe in taking risks now, not thinking small. All of us here are risk takers. We are a valuable part of St. Mary's University. And if I get elected, it will be my honor to serve as a board member. Thank you, guys.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to the forum. So let me craft a painting for you. My name is Rafee Hossain, and I have come from all the way from Dhaka, Bangladesh to Halifax, Canada. So I have come here in search of my calling in life. So in search of my calling in life, I have taken up several roles, or should I say identities. I have been the guardian of the residents, aka a resident services officer. Next, I've mastered alchemy, or should I say, I have worked as a lab demonstrator for the chemistry department. And at the same time, I've also been part of the Council of the Elders, or should I say, Secretary of the Engineering Society. Well, after fulfilling all these roles, I have morphed into something big, like my suit. Just my suit. Well, that's enough about me. Let's talk about you guys. Okay, so, with all the little experience I have gained over the years, I feel that I have something to give back to the students of this university. Well, I'll be your helping hand. I'll be the shoulder you can lean on, the ear that can listen for your voice, a voice that can amplify your voice, and finally a guide and a friend, so that I can take care of the formalities and you can focus on a great year. Thank you very much. And I'll be back.
and my biggest fear was that someone would come up and ask me, what are you doing here? So I want you to know that I've come a long way since that day, and I'll have you all know that my first day of school was actually really wonderful. I knew that I was going to be studying things that I was passionate about, and within weeks I made some great friends and settled right into university life. In the past few years, I have been a part of many things on and off campus that contribute to why I want to become a part of the board of directors. In my first few semesters, I became a member of the Ecology Action Center, which focuses on climate change activism and has been a very inspiring organization to be a part of. I also participated in SMUSA murals, and if any of you played on my soccer team, I apologize. But one of the best experiences I've had was participating in a study abroad opportunity in the spring of 2014 that took me to Zhuhai, China. During this trip, we learned about the cultural, economic, and political history of China, and I met more amazing people. The following year, aka this past September, I became a path leader for Welcome Week, and I would have to say that doing this has transformed my university experience. Being a path leader for Welcome Week allowed me to meet so many great people and helped me to facilitate my own sense of pride in the university. Being a part of SMUSA and being able to contribute has only made me want to do more. So here I am. Having the opportunity to be on the board of directors for me means that I have an opportunity to have a positive influence in helping SMUSA achieve its goals. I'm willing to work hard and dedicate myself to doing all that I can. So, thank you.
My name is Lindsay. I'm a fourth-year marketing student. I was born and raised in Zimbabwe, and I've served a year as the general member on the SMUSA executive team for St. Mary's African Student Society. I also served as 2 years on the board of executives, so I kind of have an idea of how a board works, and an idea of how policies are executed. SMUSA provides the students service, which is why I want to be part of it. I have a vision where the board works with the premise of servant leadership. I work for you. I won't be working as your boss. A leader is a colleague. It's not someone you look to as an authority figure. I focus on the people, and I think in the long term. As we strive for inclusivity, one university, we need to focus on the issues that are at hand. We want to remove the barriers of nations, race, and have equal access to resources that are on the campus. We want to reinvest into our students so that when you leave this university, you must feel as if you had an equal opportunity as anyone who has passed through these gates. After all, it is one world that we call yours. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Board of Directors from tonight, and thank you for your valuable time during the midterm exam period. I'm very happy to enjoy the time and share my point of views with all of you here. My name is Xiang. I'm a third-year Chinese student at St. Mary's who is taking HR, Human Resource Management, and Psychology. My first point of view and proposal is to make campus life more convenient. For example, cancel the U-Pass fee for students who are studying in the first academic year at St. Mary's, including the transfer student who takes the first year time at St. Mary's, and allow students keep using U-Pass during summer times from May to August. And another example is delay the deadline that we opt in the MSI part Friday in the first week on October in the fall term, and Friday in the first week on February in winter term. And the third example is add 2 more housekeeping shows, work patrols in total, because in winter there are more students, they're going to use housekeeping patrols. And delay the close time for Airmark to 9 p.m. from Monday to Friday, 8:30 8:30 p.m. on every weekends and holidays. Establish more food options, for example, McDonald's, KFC, Asian fusion restaurants, and more food choices just in the buffet belongs to Airmark Dockside Dining Hall. And cancel the charge for residence pay during the period between Christmas holiday and the beginning of winter term. And second, make students' financial aid more helpful, improving the current scholarship from $1,000 to $3,500 to $1,500 to $4,000. Set up St. Mary's University Independent Loan Program. The students who choose 10 courses in the fall and winter term and have an overall GPA is at least 3.9 can not only get the scholarships but also can apply the student's loan at most 2 times.
We're not normally this militant, but with this many people, I think I have to. Okay, so the next grade, I'm going to walk around to you and hand you the mic, and it's up to you if you want to come up or you want to answer from there. We have 7 questions, and each question will be answered by 2 people. The people were chosen randomly, and oddly enough, although you're sitting in seat 1, you are number 1. So, maybe I should read the question first. Hold on. I feel like I had done that. So you guys know what she's answering. So the first question is, the greatest challenge for the board of directors is to know the difference between what has to be preserved in the school and what needs to be changed. In an era of limited resources, tough financial times, and conflicting priorities, describe your approach to surmounting these challenges. How will you preserve the school's core values and operations and at the same time manage change and adapt as required? You have 2 minutes.
I'd like to start by just saying, how is it financially tough on school systems when it's financially tough on me? Because increasing the tuition is financially tough on me, not on the school system. Increasing the textbook every year is financially tough on me, not on the school system. There is no conflicting priorities. The priorities is students. So I don't see any conflicting priorities there, because students are supposed to be the first priorities. But anyway, if the topic comes down to preserving the diversity, which is in SMU, and which the most basic thing, which I think is the diversity of the SMU is actually the core value that has to be preserved. Thank you.
So you have to pass the mic on to Ollando.
I'm from Jamaica, where one of our philosophies is turn your hand make fashion. In other words, make use of the resources and what you have to the best of your ability. SMU has the resources, they're just not making use of it. So, that is the answer to my question.
Okay, so question 2, which will be answered by Deeksha and Oyindamola. So Deeksha first and then Oyindamola. So you finish, pass the mic to me, and then back to me. And the question is, from what you have so far been able to learn about the organization, what do you see as the most important challenges that SMUSA face?
I think the most important challenges that SMUSA faces are 3. One is the awareness among students about the services SMUSA offers. Second is the accessibility to those services, and third is the efficiency. Like Ashquir mentioned, a lot of students don't even know what SMUSA does or what SMUSA is. So we need to increase the awareness so that all the students know what services are being offered and what services they are paying for, so they can make proper use of them. Second is the accessibility. Like I mentioned in my speech, we need to conduct more regular interactions between SMUSA operations team and the students, so that they can go and put forward their problems, because not everybody goes to the SMUSA office and tell them about their problems. We need to go to the students and ask them. The third is the efficiency. A lot of students have come up to me and told me that they didn't get the SMUSA services properly. Like one of my friends told me that he was a part-time student and one of his friends was a part-time student as well. But his friend got the bus pass, and when he went for the bus pass, then he was told that although his friend shouldn't have got, but he got it, but he can't because, well, it's not allowed. So if there's a policy, it should be fair for everybody. It shouldn't be biased towards one person just because they were able to persuade the concerned person to give them the bus pass. So we need to be more efficient towards the services we offer.
Trying to budget and promote events is a big challenge. And we might need more platforms or mobile events to catch students' attention. I believe that student participation is key to the success of any events or service that we're trying to do. Thank you, that's all.
Okay, question 3 will be answered by Maksud and Talha. And the question is, please give a specific example of how you have helped create an environment where differences are valued, encouraged, and supported. What have you done to further your understanding of diversity?
So when I first came in Halifax, it was in 2013, October. I lived in residence 1.5 years, and I'm from that family where I was kept a little bit different from society, from my friends, because they were a little bit restricted. After coming here, I felt like a lot of friends, but I wasn't able to talk to everyone because it was a completely new culture for me. And later on, I figured out there is a society called Speak Up. I attended there and saw people from many countries. They're actually like me. They're not that outgoing person. So that actually helped me talking with them, because it's hard for me at the very beginning to talk to local people, from Canadian people. Now when I was keep going there every day, it was helping me to understand the culture from different culture, even in culture from Canadian culture. And after that day, I was actually meeting a lot of my friends. Those who were having problems like me. Now I feel like at that time the speaker was there. At that time there wasn't a lot of students from different culture. But now I see there is hundreds of students in Speak Up. Now it's a big society. And that's all for me. Have a good one.
So I'm an international student myself. As I told you before, I've been working for recruitment for the last 3 years. My first job for students is to give them campus tours, where I come across a lot of questions from students coming from different cultural backgrounds and religions. I help them with their campus adjustments and learned a lot about them and their problems and adjusting to the new university culture. As being one of the founders of Bangladeshi Society on campus, each and every year I try to incorporate my own culture in school. Working as an executive in the Oxfam Society on campus, I work towards gender equality, where I learned a lot from sitting in meetings, helping to fundraise and organize different events. So these experiences helped me a lot to further my understanding of diversity. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so next we have question 4. And the people answering question 4 are Lindsay and Kimerline. The question is, what is motivating you to serve on our board, and what excites you about joining our board in particular? Lindsay?
So what excites me about joining the board in particular? Well, for me, it's the possibility of change that excites me. You know, what it's hard to be alive and being part of that change, knowing that I helped impacted someone's university career, surely helps me to feel better about myself. I've always been someone who's about other people. I look for people to have better experiences. However, I can help to provide that. So, you know, looking back to when I came in first year of I remember I lived on Vanier, and gosh, I hated Vanier, just the way it looked. I told my brother that, I was like, no, it's not the university, they showed me the pictures, I don't want to come back home. But, you know, like, they renovated it now, it looks nice, the bedrooms, you know. Just think of like how much has changed from then, from the years that I've been here. And to know that there's a possibility to go further. And just knowing that we have a long way to go, and I just want to help get those wheelchair. That's it.
Hello again, everyone. So, like Lindsay, I have the same question. Two things that are mainly, well, there are quite a few factors that have motivated me to be a part or want to start the SMUSA board. Two main things that I have in my background is that I'm actually a youth liberal executive member for the Liberal Party, so that has a little bit of politics back over there. So I feel like it gives me a bit of a push to be a part of the SMUSA board, where it helps me get your voices out there. I see, and also like my co-candidate here and co-worker, Xiang, I'm also a student ambassador for our university. So we come across a whole variety of people, whether it's new people coming into our university or actual students that we come across that come and ask us questions. So we face a lot of different questions and difficulties faced by our students. So I want to be, like I've mentioned before in my speech, I want to be that voice and channel that basically gets your ideas and your wants and needs out there. I want to be that change, to bring that change into our university. So,
Okay, so next we have Jane and Bharath in order. And the question is, what is your personal philosophy regarding governance and the role of governance?
Alrighty, so given that the role of governance is to make sure that whatever decisions are made are in the best interest of the students and the association, I would have to say that my personal philosophy regarding governance is to ensure that both individuals and SMUSA have the capability to reach their full potential. This means that as a team, we will always strive to govern with excellence and always strive to make sure that the quality of life and educational experience for each student is to the level that they deserve. A big part of the role of governance, therefore, is being able to communicate effectively and recognize the needs of students. Also, something that I came across in the governance policy is because core government costs more than learning to govern well, the board will invest in its governance capacity. So personally, this means that if I have the opportunity to join the board, I will gain skills, methods, and supports that ensure that we are representing the needs of the students and taking a proactive rather than a reactive role in preserving the core values of St. Mary's. Thank you.
My personal philosophy for governance, it should include students from every community, program, ethnicity, which would make it more diverse. Governance should be approachable and willing to help and guide the students. The protocol should be followed step by step, more convenient to understand, and finally, it should be democratic governance. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so the next two people are Ashquir and Rafee. And their question is, how would you describe the perfect board culture?
How would I describe a perfect board culture? It's all about teamwork. Having a team of board members that is equally diversified, equally balanced, qualified, and engaged is one of organization's assets. We have to keep in mind the kind of board our organization needs. Secondly, we have to choose members that offset your weaknesses, our weaknesses. Thirdly, it's about corporate culture. Ensure the board fits with the existing culture that we have. That would be it from me.
Told you I'll be back. Well, an ideal board culture. Well, I'll start off with two basic ones. The first one is the whole team should have one common goal so that we're all focused. The second one is proper communication so that there is no chance of miscommunication or any misunderstanding. Now to the deeper aspects of it. Let me give you an analogy. You cannot play soccer with a tennis ball. Equally, a tennis ball is important for tennis. You have to acknowledge everyone's strengths. You have to give them the opportunity so that they can grow and implement those strengths so that they can reach their potential and utilize their strengths into making our work great. I think that's my answer.
Okay. So the last question is, how have your on-campus experiences helped prepare you to serve as a member of the board of directors? And that question is being answered by Xiang and Dhubow. Oh, you're right, Zahra. You need her after.
This is the universal rule, lady first. I took part in a lot of school events in order to improve my soft skills, communication, and cooperation with different people in different cultures in my university group work. I am active to be a leader in my group. I can use my soft skills to solve the problem and misunderstood between my group members. And I also learned how to organize people to achieve the goal for a team efficiently. In addition, I have lots of friends from different countries. I know what people in different cultures really need. Those on-campus experiences improve and help me a lot to be a leader as a board of directors for SMUSA. Thank you.
So the question is basically, what experiences have I had on campus that would enrich me to use those skills to be a better board of directors? I personally, I really used to be actually really reserved and pretty quiet, and I never really wanted to get involved with a lot of societies and organizations on campus or actually outside of campus. But this year actually made it a mission of mine to challenge myself and to get involved on school activities and get involved on the board of directors, because I think it's great to have and to allocate your voice and also to have diversity on the board of directors. But one of the things that I've been lucky enough to be a part of this year was to be a part of the Mali UN organization on campus, and they've done a lot with representing the school in New York. Another thing I did, actually a year ago, I was lucky enough to do the hijab day, and it really got me to kind of interact with students that didn't know much about the hijab. I kind of realized that we can celebrate our differences and that people are really understanding about our diversity, and that's such a strength for our school as well. Another thing that I was lucky enough to be a part of on the 26th is to be a part of the student conference, and I really wanted to talk about identity and what it means to have multiple identities, and kind of share that with the student body. So you guys are all welcome to come. It's on the 26th. And then another thing is I have been accepted to be a Queen Elizabeth Scholar in Uganda. Yeah.
Okay, so now we're at the part that involves the audience. You guys have been great. By the way, this is like a really good program. It's really impressive. And every year I do this, and the candidates keep getting more and more interesting. It's fun. So, it's over to you guys. Who has a question? How we're going to do this is I'm going to pick people randomly from the audience. I do try to be fair, and if you have someone you want to direct it at them. If not, I have a list here, and I will make sure that every candidate answers equal questions. I'm going to assign it to each question to 2 people. All right, so does anyone have a question? Who wants to go first? All right. Go ahead.
So, thank you all for coming out. I noticed a number of you have been talking about culture and, trying to get a lot of people interested in the university. The President's Council report from 2014 says that is one of the things that the university is interested in doing. Do you believe that since that report has been written, they have failed to do that?
Okay, so the question is, there's a belief that while everybody here is talking about it, the responsibility was assigned in the President's Council report, to the actual university and not SMUSA to improve cultural diversity and inclusion. Do you feel that the university has failed at that? So, does anyone want to answer the question? No. You want to answer? No? There's no, you don't need to do that. If you want clarification, you have to do that. Do you mean that school-wise? School-wise. Okay. So does anyone want to answer the question? Okay, we have one. I'll pick a second. It's going to be you because you opened your mouth. 30 seconds.
Well, I don't think I can really comment on what has been going on since 2014 because I was not here then. But I would like to mention that yes, there is still a lot of work that needs to be done. Although I see that there are students who take initiative themselves to go out of their community and talk to people of other cultures, but there's still a lot of work, and that's one of the main objectives that we still need to work on. So no, I don't agree that they have been successful in doing that.
I think that you mentioned about whether they have failed or not. I think they haven't failed. Like if you look at the speaker, when I first went there wasn't a lot of students. Like they weren't even willing to come there. Now, like if you go there, it's like hundreds of students out there. So how come they failed? I find like they haven't. Like they're still moving on, and they're like culture diversity is going up. That's a problem.
Next question? Yes. Okay, do we have anybody who wants to answer? If you don't, I'm going to randomly pick you. Okay. 1, 2. Here you go. 30 seconds.
The role of governance. The role of governance, according to me, is policy making, decision making, and oversight. You do the management, we oversee it. We make the policies, we help to make the policies, we together. For decision making, the management comes to us, we work together to take a decision. That is it.
Alright, well, I can second what he said, but the role of governance is to review the executive branch of senior government such as SMUSA and the president, and its governance deals with future-oriented tasks of the school, and operations deals with the day-to-day goals and yearly. That's my answer.
You're allowed to direct your questions to a specific candidate if you want. Then, yes.
I'd like to ask a open question. Given that you guys are going to be representing us all, what steps have you taken to talk to people from different ethnic groups across the school campus to understand what they need?
So we hand to the mic and you each have 30 seconds.
To answer your question, I did go around school actually, giving out pamphlets to a lot of students and asking them and interacting with them and asking them what their most important issue was. And just like me, a lot of students were talking about 3 things, and that was tuition. So the increase of tuition, I don't think a lot of people were, and I feel like a lot of students don't feel like the student organization, the student association is actually addressing the increase of the tuition, which is 3%, right? And the second thing a lot of students have that they want to talk about is mental advocacy, and they feel like there isn't a lot of address about the mental health issues for students on campus, and equity. Until recently, I don't know about a lot of you guys, but until recently I didn't know about, there was an equity center. So
So I went outside of Loyola today and I saw a big van, and in front of the back of the van there were like 60 Chinese students, and they were all taking food today. So I was shocked, like, what is going on? So I go there and I ask them what's going on, and they're like, so 90% of the students didn't want to talk to me. And so this one guy comes up to me and says, we don't have our kind of food on campus. We are like the 10% of ratio of international students or the full students in St. Mary's, but we don't have the options for food on campus. That's why we have to do private catering. So I think that's one of the issues. That's one of the things I talked about today.
Since the day you guys started campaigning, what's the biggest issue you guys found out of students that they are facing in university other than representation?
Okay, well, you two guys can handle this first, so I'll pass it.
Well, I mean, the obvious one is tuition. And from what I've discovered in discussing with the various faculty officers is that tuition is not something that the university controls per se. SMUSA has no power to decrease it, although they can lobby for it to be changed or whatever policies they want. What I've discovered is that students want the tuition to be lower, but that's not going to happen because it's a provincial thing that happens. The school gets a loan or a grant from the government, and then it's subsidized for local students, and there's a differential that also subsidizes for local students. Then you have a whole bunch of math. The only solution to this is not that we get the tuition cut down, because it's not going to happen. What we can only do is get it reinvested. So for example, if you're an international student, you can get your
I think there are also very important issues. So I think the most important one is the tuition. So before I came here, lots of Chinese students told me I should mention the decrease in tuition. So I just told them I'll try my best, but it's not my own work. I can solve this problem. The second one, I think, is the long-term relationship between Canadian students and the international students. I found that almost on campus in on every activity there are only few Chinese students. They would like to partake like today's event. So why? I think there is a misconnection with the culture between Chinese culture and Western cultures, and maybe other cultures.
So, first of all, good job. All 14 of you, you're all amazing. Maybe honestly, you're in favor. So, you also be working, in season to get in. I want to know, this is an open question, I want to know what you guys know about the partnerships SMUSA has. Who does it work with? That's number one. And number two, you guys, a lot of the stuff you mentioned is about lobbying. Who do you lobby to? And do you guys know what Council of Students and Essex? What do they do?
Okay, so I have anyone who wants to answer that question who hasn't answered the question yet. So the question is, I'm going to make it one because you can't have two questions. So the question is, do you know who the partners and lobbying partners, so both of them, are that SMUSA works with? Hang on, you guys both answered already. So I'm going to pick Tavali and Kimerline.
And we'll see how many students is interested in this, you can move the motion forward. And then you go through the right channels in order to get it approved.
Okay, so given that everyone's had an opportunity, is there anyone who really wants to answer that question? You can have a second one if you want to. Okay.
They lobby, how they lobby, that's the question I'll answer. The chair of the board sits on the board of directors of the university, the administration of the entire university, not just SMUSA, and that's how they lobby the issues about tuition or the main issues. And the organizations you were talking about, they are organizations from all over Canada or Nova Scotia for all the universities and not just SMUSA. So, yeah.
Wondering what are the solutions that you've already gathered to tackle my issues
one or two issues specifically that she could deal with as opposed to her trying to figure out what it is that you're saying. So can you give us one or two issues?
Food. Microwaving hours. I don't know, something like that.
Okay, food and hours for very food.
As I wanted to mention in my speech, I would definitely try to extend the food service hours because I know it's pretty difficult. And then in the atrium, the food's not allowed after 11 p.m. So what are the students going to do during exams? I mean, you cannot order after 11 p.m. They're just like, you cannot order food. So there's no delivery guys and the atrium doors. Where are you going to go? Once you go out, then for getting inside, you need to get the permission of the security guard. And at times, security guard is not even at the door. So you will have to freeze outside till he's there. So I think that's one of the issues. I would tackle for your food.
Did your mother ever hit you for that? You don't get a follow-on question. You know gets the answer. If you want another follow-on question, you put up your answer like a hand and I'll pick you again. Okay? All right. So now you get your 30 seconds. Same question. Take an issue. She's stuck with food. That's your clarification. And the availability of food. Oh, directed to you? Okay. There you go. Now you get the answer.
To address your question, well, one thing I want to mention out is it's not me who can make that change to address your concern. It's people who are the board of directors, so it's a set number of people on the board that we, as a team, make that decision. So, for example, there are 10 people, for example, on the board. So, out of that, 5 or 6 of them might say, yeah, let's increase the hours for getting food or whatever. So, it's with that. For me personally, I will do whatever I can in my ability and my capacity to motivate or to persuade people on the board to make those changes, to implement and make the best out of your needs and desires. Coming to the food thing for the library after hours, as Talha mentioned, for increasing 11 p.m. is max for studying, getting food there. For exam times, at least it's 1 o'clock, so don't worry about that, you'll be fine for that. But like I mentioned, we will do our best as the board to make your voice and your vote heard.
Okay, do we have any other questions? Okay, you already have one. You haven't had one yet. Go ahead.
First of all, there's 9
Yeah,
the second thing is, as a board, you actually work as a team. So my question is that what is your reaction going to be when someone on the board does not agree with an issue that you brought up or a solution that you have?
Okay, who wants to answer that? So who has not answered the question yet? I've got so you'll be one, and Rafee. So you two. Give you first, and then you pass it back.
Well, thank you for the question. Disagreements are part of everyday team activities. So if a particular board member doesn't agree with something, I believe you would have to put up a strong argument and back it up with facts. And I like using numbers as facts. So I believe that if you put up a strong argument and you put up facts in front of that particular board member, there's a high chance that he will agree to it. Thank you.
there as a member of the board and either the rest of the group doesn't agree with your issue that you brought forward, or they brought forward an issue with which you disagree, how do you handle that?
That's a tough one. Actually, I'll think of alternatives as to how, an alternative idea that will still complement for that idea that got rejected.
Okay, so you
simplest.
No, there's two people per question. Jeez. Why? Who's next? Is there another question? Okay, go ahead. You can have your second question. Okay, does anyone want to speak about their experience that shows that they have the competencies required for the job that's at hand? Okay, so we have you, so that's Rafee and Bharath, you have just answered one. So Talha, you already answered one. So Rafee, and then who else wants to answer? Lindsay. Okay, you two go. No, that's fine. You already answered. Yeah, hang on, I read this one. Go ahead.
Well, I've worked for the Engineering Society as the secretary. So I have handled all the paperwork and I have also reviewed our funds. So as board of directors, you also do review the funds that are available to the societies. So I believe that puts me in the skills required for this job is well tailored to my skills. Thank you.
Personally, I work for the St. Mary's African Student Society, which is probably one of the society that has the highest number of students, and we probably get the highest amount of funding as per student. The relevance of this is that throughout those years we've had issues that have caused severe problems with our society, almost getting disbanded and getting suspended as well. So this means that I know how to work with risk management, which is something that I think SMUSA is very careful about. There have been incidents in the past where SMUSA has been involved in some very strong issues that has caused problems with the university. So I feel as having that experience and having that that knowledge of how to work through a board and how the team works and how to work if situations go wrong and risk management, I think that will come in handy, especially with this board going forward. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
No, this is another question. All of you are going to lose, that's a fact. So, if you're not voted in, what will you do to change student life? Does it just stop here? If you're
Okay, does anyone wish to answer that question? Oh, I have two hands up. We'll take you two.
So to answer your question, supposing if we aren't voted into the system, well, we definitely know the people who will be in the system, and from what I've heard, at least from the candidates, they want to hear your voice, so naturally I would be smart enough to go and talk to them and say that, hey, this is what I want to see change into the system, and hope that they would be able to get that into the meeting and like talk about it and discuss it over. So that's what I would do. I mean, I'd still be part of it, but I would do my best to make your voice also heard still, whether I'm on board or not.
My advice to us and to people, everyone in here is, if you lose, you take that L, but don't take it as an L for a loss. Take it as an L for a learning opportunity.
Woo!
Yes, you might not make it into the board per se, but being on the board doesn't mean that you're not the director. I mean, you do, but you don't have to be on the board to make a difference in the school. We're all involved in some way in the school, and now that you've done all the research, you now understand how the process actually works now, what the policies do, and how everything is run. So now you have the chance to say, okay, fine, I will go back to African society, and now I'm going to explain to the students that, hey, this is what goes on, this is what happens, and implement those changes somehow to be there.
Okay, you haven't had a question yet. You have to see it first.
Okay,
so one very important function of the board is policy writing. In the governance policy, there are 4 types of policies that are written. Can anyone name those policies? Uses for governance.
Who feels like a pop quiz? Okay, so
boys got this.
Election policy, campus poster policy, social media policy.
No, I don't say anything. I'm just here. I'm saying.
The last one is governance policy for SMUSA.
Alright, so we go. There's governance policy, the code of conduct policy for the board, the ends policy, and those are the 3 ones I think I know.
Thank you.
Anybody else got difficult pop quizzes they want to ask? Okay, so you're going to, is this the last question, or does anyone else have a question? Okay, you do? So you've had 3. You're going to get to go next time. Okay. Great teacher. You?
Oh, right now, next?
Yes. She's had 3 questions.
Just 2 things. This might be a dumb question, but back when we talked about governance, are we talking about how this board of directors is governed, or how we as SMUSA deal with the government?
Okay, so I'm going to answer the question because I think that's not for the candidates. Is that fair?
Oh,
yeah, okay, so governance is how SMUSA, which is a corporate body, is governed within itself. And that's what this is about. It's about how these guys become the trustees that looks after this thing that can't look after itself called SMUSA. That's governance. That's a short version.
And the last suggestion?
Yeah?
Are we allowed to suggest?
No, that's a debate. You have to ask questions. You can make suggestions in another way.
Okay.
Turn it into a question. You can make it a question. I'll let you answer it. I'll let you ask it. So take it and figure out. This is like Jeopardy. You figure out how to make a question. Okay, so you, no, she's got it next. I promised her. Go ahead.
Good. Just another, basic question. How many committees do we have within the board right now? Can you name any of them? Or all of them?
Okay, does anyone want to answer the question? You can ask me. Do you want the names or the numbers?
Names.
I think the point's been made. Okay, so if anyone would like to take a stab at naming at least some, go ahead. If not, it's okay.
Would one of them be an actress?
No.
You're done.
I just wanted to clarify when you said committees of the board.
Committees of the board.
Okay, so would that be student affairs, academic affairs? On the right track?
You can't do that.
So I have, you guys talking about the law issues, the impact and stuff like that. I haven't heard that much about mental health awareness as it's the most important thing SMUSA is facing nowadays. So what do you guys think about mental health awareness and how can we achieve it?
Okay, does anyone want to take that question? All right. 1, 2.
Mental health awareness. I was talking to one of the students the other day, and it was brought to my attention that our schools do not have enough psychologists. Like, there's just 3 psychologists in Spain. So if I was elected, I would definitely increase So that's one of the measures I can take.
One of the biggest things for me is getting rid of the stigma. So I know there's a lot of posters up that say 1 in 5 students suffer from mental health. And I think that this increases the stigma of mental health. I know that many people suffer mental health issues, but I think that it should be from 1 to 5. Instead of being 1 out of 5 students suffer mental health, I think it should be 5 out of 5. Not mental health issues, but all of us suffer with helping and trying to nourish our mental well-being. And so I think we need to get rid of the stigma, and by doing that, we need to make it so that the entire student body suffers with mental well-being. And I think that should be the, I guess, the rhetoric of mental health advocacy.
Okay, no, I'm going to go with you because you haven't had a question yet. Okay, so the question is directed at you two, and does everyone else hear it? Do they want to know what it is? What can you do to help improve safety on campus and near campus for those people who live close by and end up walking home late at night because they're studying? Okay.
You're here late at night studying and you know you're here. Why would you stay past a certain hours and then can't reach home? Why not have a backup plan in order to take a cab or to have a friend to stay with you in order to go home with you? Also, custody patrol is there. You know that custody patrol ends at a certain time. Why not try to go home with custody patrol when it ends? Or during the time it's operating and studying, finish your studies at home. And next thing said, I work for resident service as an RSO. So we have a lot of emergency rooms on campus. If it's a dire situation, you can get the emergency room on campus. So that is the answer to your question.
First off, that was a great question. But we got campus security and we got RSO staff. And when I'm going to try and lobby for hospital patrol to be open for a bit longer. And again, we got emergency rooms in case if you can't make it back home at the same time. So, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to let there be 2 more questions. So if you want to, okay, you haven't asked a question yet, so you can be one of them. Who else wants one of the 2 questions? Needs to be someone who hasn't asked one yet. Okay, and you. I'm pointing at you. Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. Just a moment ago, a member of the board of directors asked you guys to name committees that the board operates or administers, and none of you were able to name any of them. Do you think that's the fault of the board of directors as it is? And what will you do to fix that?
Okay, who wants to answer? So Shane and you. You two.
It could have been more transparent. It's for us that we could answer the question. but there are other students, how many of us just know about it? We don't know. There are a lot of students who doesn't know about the policies that runs through SMUSA. Could have been more transparent, and I think transparency is a very important issue for us.
Yeah.
Thank you for your question. I think becoming a part of the board of directors is a huge learning curve, and learning all there is about policy governance is going to take a lot. So I think that is part of why some of us may not have been able to answer that. And yeah, I think it's a huge part of the position, and it's a great opportunity. So I don't think it's necessarily bad.
You've all addressed that mental health is an issue that we need to address. But how do you intend to encourage students to use the resources and the support systems we actually have?
Okay, so I think in this case, because it is the last question, we're going to wrap up. I'm going to let everyone who wants to answer it, answer it. Okay, so Xiang, you're excited about you have it first.
Thank you. The question is very good. It's a very challenging question. First, we need to know what is the core problem for mental health problem. I think the core problem for international students is the culture shock, and for Canadian students, it's the stresses for working and studying. So I have a way to set up a 6 on-campus multi-language service station at the first week of fall term and winter term in order to help the new students whose English are not very fluently to know and be familiar with St. Mary's Affairs information live and the local habitat basic information. This can help international students better adapt Canadian life. Set up some workshops by International Student Center to help students know SMUSA, habitats, and Canada better. So I think we need to use international students' pay efficient and use our also our tuition fee efficient on-campus sources. Thank you.
Hello, Kai. I think the solution is in the word itself. It's mental health awareness. We need to get the awareness out there and remove the stigma that it's an actual thing. Because it's coming from, as the student population is so diverse, some countries and some cultures don't actually understand what it means to be affected by mental health issues. So, for example, where I'm from, if I was to tell my parents right now that I'm suffering from mental health, they would look at me as like, have you gone insane, or like do you need to be pulled out, do you need to go to an asylum or something? But you need to understand that there's more to it. It's not just being a lunatic. So it's getting that awareness out that comes a vast number of things, and that there needs to be awareness for it, to remove the stigma against it, that it's okay to actually ask for help when you need help.
Well, thank you for the question. So when we talk about mental health, we kind of get scared. Oh, I'm insane or something. Like I shouldn't be that way or something. So I was thinking we can talk about mental health to students without actually saying it's mental health. Maybe we can say something like, "How are you feeling today?" Right? So, like we can set up shop near Tim's or something. We can set up posters. How are you feeling today? Talk to us today. We can word it differently so that more students can relate to it. I feel that way we can increase more awareness to it.
So I think that one of the most important things for mental health issues is empathy. So creating empathy in the student body, and I think the greatest way to do that is by getting rid of the stigma, such as I totally agree with what Lindsay said, getting rid of the stigma and making sure that while realizing that every single student does deal with stresses, and most importantly, because of the rising tuition. And I do agree also that there is limited amount of things that we can do about the tuition, but we can definitely have transparent budget meetings. We can try to lobby for things like that so that we know where our money is going and that we can feel a lot less stress, and that students can empathize together, and I don't know, there can be a more holistic student body, and I think that will really help with mental health. Yeah.
I'll keep it as short as I can. Let's start from our own resources. We have counseling center, do we? Yes, we do. But how many of us do we know about the counseling center and what they do? Sorry? It's not rhetorical. I'm just saying, because I had a student yesterday who came up to me and he was depressed, but he never knew about the counseling center that we had. We can't take that help. We have that resource, but we don't use it just because we don't know about it.
Alright, so I just wanted to say that when it comes to mental health, this is something that I have actively been pursuing within recent months. And I'd say that the issue is we have lots of resources on campus to deal with this. But the problem is that the resources that we do have, people either don't know about, they're not resources that can provide the services that students need, or there's just gaps. So recently the peer support group has started, and I think that's on Mondays and Wednesdays or something, and that's sort of like an open space area where students can meet, talk with a peer about their issues. So this is a really great thing. And then we've also seen the Healthy Minds team, which just started this year, I believe. And so that's also progress in the right direction and ending stigma. And but I will just let you know, there's lots of things in the making to have a peer-to-peer support program happening. And then I'm proud of that.
I think that's it. I think you guys have lots to think about, and Blair's going to let you know, I think, when you're voting. Thank you. This is fun for me. All of you, I hope it goes well for you.
Well, thanks a lot for coming out. This week especially, we had 2 great turnouts with almost packed crowds, so another round of applause for yourself. Now, obviously, as many of you already know, the voting is taking place on February 24th and 25th, right before the end of the month. So again, use all of the information that you guys gained from earlier this month and use it towards your vote in an effective manner. And also, another important thing is you guys have had the chance to listen to these people talk all evening, basically. And now you guys have the opportunity to actually ask them questions on a more personal level later this month to get to know them better. And as a perfect cameo for that, there is an event taking place at the Goresbrook this evening, which we hope to see a lot of your faces there and hopefully get some good communication going. So again, thanks a lot for coming out. We appreciate it, and let's have a great election this year.
No, not you. Hey, what's the girls' group then?
Wings, and then he didn't give me a title
Is
for
it
it.
a fundraiser for Kenya? What? Like low key? You can't do it high key? The girls' can you fundraise for anything?
I don't know. I literally just got a message saying everybody come, make sure you push a lot of people to come to the door.
I love you.
Oh my god. Oh no, that was Scotty.
That was Scotty too. Hottie. I don't know what Virginia Wang Yang is. Did you see my you said you think it's
The cruiserweight bouts on Friday night sleep get what was it?
oh my god, come drive down to the launch.
I forget what their theme song was, but it's so funny.
I don't know, it's just like them. You just hear them like turning on their
Is it exchange here or
like